In this video, we are going to go over how to add samples within Climb. To add a sample, first we are going to go into our samples facet. This facet is where detailed records of all samples that have been added to the system lives. To add a new sample, we can click on this green plus sign to add one sample from one animal or source. We can type in the name of the animal and select that here. And Climb will fetch that animal's information for us. We can designate a location where these samples will be stored, and then we can designate what type of sample we are going to collect. There's additional metadata that we can fill out, such as the time point, the harvest date, which we will set to today, preservation methods, expiration dates, and so on. We will also see what studies the sample is a part of. So the animal is part of these two studies. Once we are satisfied with our information, we can select Save to create the sample, and then return to our list view, where that sample is now presented. We can also add samples in bulk via the Samples facet. To do that, we come to our Bulk dropdown and select Bulk Add. The bulk add screen is very similar to when we add a single sample, but we can designate multiple sources. If we want to add samples from animals, we can select the number of animals that we are taking samples from and click and drag those over. All of the different sources are listed here, and our number of new samples to add updates accordingly. You can also create a sample from a different sample. So if we would like, we could also create a sample from one that already exists. This is useful when we're trying to make aliquots of a single sample that may be sent off for different types of testing. Once we have all of our sources listed, we then select the type of sample and then fill out our metadata as applicable. Here we have the option to save the records, save and clear the form, or edit and save the individual records. If we select Edit Records, we now have the ability to come in and alter the status of our sources. We can also change the type of sample that we collected and any other of the metadata that we saw on the previous screens. Once we're satisfied with this, we can select Save to update the records, and then return to List View. We can select the samples and create sample labels by clicking the Label button at the top of the screen. Samples can also be entered through the Workflow facet. We bring up our Workflow facet and select a task that includes sample collections, such as this whole blood collection task. We will enter our bulk data entry screen. In addition to our information about our animals, housing ID, and when the task is due, we have our inputs and then information about the sample that we are collecting from this task. Output sample is going to give us the name of each sample that we have created for these animals. And from here, we can fill our meta information. We can bulk edit or edit individually. And then we have our remaining outputs and then our completed columns. Now that we've marked this as completed, I can save the record. And now my task to collect these whole blood samples has been completed. If you have any questions about how to add samples within Climb, please reach out to us at support@rockstepsolutions.com, or you can click the support button at the bottom of your Climb screen and send us a message through here.